MEDGAR Evers was a devoted husband and father, a distinguished World War II veteran and a pioneering civil rights leader. He served as the NAACP's first field secretary in Mississippi, organizing protests and voter registration drives, recruiting new workers into the civil rights movement, and pushing for school integration. He heroically spoke out against racism in the deeply divided South. MEDGAR Evers gained notoriety in the eyes of white supremacists after becoming involved in two high-profile cases. His public investigations into the 1955 lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till and the 1960 conviction of Clyde Kennard, a black civil rights activist framed for crimes he didn't commit, left Evers vulnerable to attacks.
I say to my wife, you can't turn that off. You don't have to watch a black face on TV or listen to what you don't want to hear. It's still a free country. I reckon that's where I get the idea from. I says I could find where he's living that's asking for equal time, and without a bit of trouble for me. When it was 3:45 and 92, that was me going by in my brother-in-law's truck. He don't deliver nothing at that hour of the morning. And there was his light on waiting for me. In his garage, if you please. His car's gone. He's planning still some other ways to do what we tell him he can't. I thought I'd beat him home. All I had to do was pick my tree and walk in close behind it. I didn't come expecting not to wait. But it was so hot. All I did was hope and pray one or the other of us wouldn't melt before it was over. I've heard of others around here saying they'd shoot all those blacks. They've even told the governor himself of their intentions. But most of them are in jail. Well, I ain't in jail, and I ain't asked no governor to give me one thing. Unless he wants to give me a pat on the back for my troubles I took this morning. But he don't have to. I done what I done for my own pure dissatisfaction. As soon as I hear wheels, I knowed who was coming. That was him and bound to be him. I knew I had the right one, heading in a new car up his driveway towards his garage with the light shining, but stopping before he got there, maybe not to wake them. That was him. I knowed it when he cut off the car lights. I knowed him standing in the dark against the light. I knowed him then like I know me. I knowed him even by his still listening back. Never seen him before, never seen him since, never seen anything of his black face but his picture. Never seen his face alive, any time at all, or anywheres, and didn't want to, need to, never hoped to see the face and never will. As long as there was no question in my mind. He had to be the one. He stood right still and waited against the light. His back was fixed on me like a preacher's eyeballs when he's yelling, "Are you saved?" He's the one. I'd already brought up my rifle. I'd already taken my sights. And I'd already got him, because it was too late then for him or me to turn by one hair. Something darker than him, like the wings of a bird, spread on his back and pulled him down. He climbed up once, like a man under bad claws, and like just blood could weigh a ton, he walked with it on his back to better light, didn't get no further than his door, and fell to stave. He was down, and a ton load of bricks on his back wouldn't have laid any heavier. There on his paved driveway, yes, sir. I was on top of the world for once. I stood a minute to see would somebody inside come out long enough to pick him up. And there she comes, the woman. I doubt she'd been to sleep, because it seemed to me she'd been in there keeping awake all along. There wasn't a thing I'd been able to think of since would have made it go any nicer, except a chair to my back while I was putting in my waiting. But going home I seen how little time it takes after all to get a thing done like you really want it.
More nationally, Medgar Evers was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, where he received full military honors before a crowd of more than 3,000. Byron de la Beckwith, a fertilizer salesman and member of the KKK, was arrested for Evers' murder. All-white juries in February and April 1964 deadlocked on de la Beckwith's guilt and failed to reach a verdict despite overwhelming evidence. Millie Evers never gave up the fight for justice for her husband. In 1994, de la Beckwith was prosecuted by the state based on new evidence. He was eventually convicted of murder,